Okay, so like I said in my last video, I'm supposed to tell people what God is and what God isn't, which is still just crazy to me because I was an atheist as a child. I decided at the age of 7 that God, Santa, and the Easter Bunny all did not exist. They all sound like a crock of shit to me. I saw right through the bullshit, at least the bullshit that God is being represented to me as through through the Christian church, um, and whatnot. And so yeah, I was atheist, but then I explored everything from a very like intellectual, like scientific mind, and I watched the show Unsolved Mysteries, and little by little kept seeing more and more evidence of life after death with ghosts, and I love the stories about the alien abductions and all that stuff, and um, I did do some LSD in high school. That helped me open my mind spiritually, pot and listening to Pink Floyd and Dark Side of the Moon and all that stuff. But, so it's been a slow, gradual process, but especially so within the last few years, since about 2004, another big opener was discovering the Gnostic Gospels, because I was so upset when Bush got reelected in '04 over that whole gay marriage issue. I just couldn't believe, in 2004 that we elected a president over that who had done such a terrible job. And I knew that I've always been interested in social change and wanted to be politically active, and I've long known, and this really kicked it over the top, that in order to facilitate the social change that I see necessary in this country, that conservative Christian values were going to have to be attacked. But how do you go at these people who think that their God is the only God and Jesus is the only way and all this stuff? And then I read the Gnostic Gospels where Jesus clearly says, "I'm not the only way. Everything I can do, you can do. You're the Son of God." And then I learned about Vedanta Hinduism, a great man named Shankara. He said the same thing. Jesus may have actually received his spiritual education in India. That's another topic, I suppose. But they both say the same thing. Gnostic Christianity and Vedanta Hinduism really resonate with me, that we're all one, we're all God. There's no God that's outside of ourselves. There's no, we don't need an intermediary of a priest or a church or a guru to interpret God for us. Commune with nature. That's God. God is everywhere. God is in a leaf. And actually, God is not even God. I believe God is goddess. And they say they contain both the male and female element, but I think the female element is more dominant. And if you do your research on, secret societies and the conspiracies and all that stuff, you'll see how there's a lot of goddess worship, within the Catholic Church and in these secret societies, and you'll start to see the opposing arcs that symbolize the vagina everywhere. This the sacred womb of the universe that gave birth to us all. In Kabbalah, you have the ancient tree of life, where there's 13 elements or something. I'm sorry, I'm not an expert in it, but the root element is a female element. So yeah, I believe the universe is female. That's just my personal opinion. You look into it yourself. There's a lot of cool information out there about it. Also, check out the Sacred Geometry and the Sacred Flower of Life, which is a series of overlapping circles that also make that opposing arc shape. And you'll start to see it everywhere in architecture. You get into secret societies, talk about Freemasonry and the guys who build the buildings. They built the castles back in the castle days, and now they build the big buildings, and you'll see that everywhere, the arcs that symbolize the sacred feminine. And on that note, I just wanted to talk about, because I got heavily into this conspiracy stuff back in '05, and it's a really dark, negative spiral. There's a lot of crazy information out there and a lot of crazy people, and it can really bring you down. And there are a lot of bad people out there doing bad things, who have done bad things, but you have to remain positive. Mother Teresa once said that she would never go to an anti-war protest. She would never go to an anti-anything, because you can't fight fire with fire. Only love can conquer hate. Whenever you oppose something, you're just feeding it. What you resist persists. So, yeah, I mean, you have to have like compassion for these people, the Illuminati, the guys who are at the top pulling the strings. You know, the change that needs to happen is not going to come through a violent, rebellion on the streets. You know that we're outgunned in that way. They'll crush us and kill us all with the tanks and the bombs and their guns. So really, So what is God? God is a field of energy that is pure love. Period. God does not judge. God does not control your life. You know, if bad things happen in your life, why God? Why did this happen to me? You know, just accept that it happened. And, if it helps you to believe that everything happens for a reason, which I believe that, then go with that and say, okay, this has happened. I can't change it. What can I learn from this? How can I, change my life so this doesn't happen in the future? What can I take from this? I always come back to the serenity prayer, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's the tightrope that we walk on this earth, is finding that balance, knowing the difference of what you can change and what you can't change, and having that courage to change the things you can. Because, unfortunately, we are socialized to live in fear, and we have become a self-policing society, where anyone who says anything that's, taboo or out of the ordinary, talking about these, taboo subjects that I like to talk about, is immediately called like a weirdo or a crazy or ostracized, And when I bring up the conspiracy stuff, some people will say like, oh well, you can't keep a secret like that, it'd be all over the news. Okay, who owns the major news medias? And if everyone thinks like that you can't keep a secret, you're helping to keep that secret. If everyone thinks like that, that's how they keep the secret, and they're not even hiding. The more you open your eyes and see, they're doing it right in front of our faces. It's like they want to get caught. They want us to become enlightened. I mean, Columbia TriStar, has ties to Illuminati secret societies, and they put out the 2012 movie. And when I saw the trailer for that, and they said Google 2012, find out the truth. They want you to find out the truth and prepare for 2012. I mean, there are. Here's the thing about the Illuminati. People think that it's like this, like Greek, group of men who all sit around and agree on everything and control the planet. It's not like that. The world's not black and white. It's shades of gray, and I'm running out of time here, so I'm going to have to continue this. But there is dissension within that group, within the Bilderbergers, within the Freemasons, within Skull and Bones. I'm sure they argue all the time, and there's also very loving, compassionate people within that group also. And so we have to send them love and compassion because they are in power, and they have the power to make the positive changes and bring out like free energy technologies and stuff like that. To be continued. Namaste.